Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
In the previous session, we discussed up to money measurement concept. Now let us discuss other concepts. So other concept is the dual aspect concept. Dual aspect concept means whenever you are doing the business transaction, so every transaction two aspect. One aspect receive and other aspect is give. For example, if you are paying salary, then you are obtaining services of the employee and you are paying money for it. So here services are obtained and the money is paid. So every business transaction has two aspects. So because of these two aspects, what will happen? The assets is equal to liability plus capital. For example, that if you have brought capital rupees 5,000, you have borrowed loan of 10,000, so your liability plus capital, you have total funds of 15,000. So with the help of 15,000, you can purchase the same value of asset. So what will happen? Assets for 15,000 purchase is equal to what? Liability 10,000 plus capital 5,000. So here that every transaction has two aspects. Next aspect is accounting period concept. So accounting period concept says that as we discussed previously, that according to the business entity concept, the business is assumed to be continued for the longer period of time. It does not mean that we will calculate the profit or loss of the business only at the end of the life of the business. If the business is continued for 20 years, it does not mean that we will calculate the profit only after 20 years. So, but here all the stakeholders, for example, the bank which has given loan to the business, it interested to know the efficiency or profit of your business at the end of every year. So for the sake of calculating result of the business, profit, loss, what are the assets and what are the situation of assets and liabilities at the end of the year. So the profit or loss is calculated at the end of every year. So here the entire life of the business is scattered into a small period of time, and every small period of time is considered as an accounting period. So here at the end of every accounting period, profit is calculated or loss is calculated, assets and liabilities are valued, and it is communicated to all stakeholders, and generally the accounting period is considered as of 12 months. Next concept is cost concept. So as per the cost concept, all the assets are recorded at a price for which the actual price is paid for it. Suppose you have purchased machinery of rupees 1 lakh, so you have paid rupees 1 lakh. So every year it should be recorded at rupees 1 lakh only, and it is machinery can be used for a certain period of time, so that 1 lakh will be depreciated over its useful period of life. Suppose machinery of 1 lakh and you are assuming that useful life is 5 years. So 1 lakh divided by 5, the yearly decrease in the value of machinery will come to 20,000, which is known as depreciation. So every year the machinery will be recorded in the books in the balance sheet as 1 lakh minus 20,000 depreciation 80,000. The second year again 80,000 book value minus 20,000 depreciation 60,000. So it is gradually depreciated, but even though the market value changes every day, whether the market value is increased or reduced, it is no asset is recorded at market value. So according to cost concept, all the assets are recorded at a cost. Cost means the actual price paid for purchasing it. Next concept is revenue recognition concept. So here the question will arise that when you will record the income in your books of account. For example, you are making credit sales in the month of May. Now credit sales means you are giving credit to the customer that the customer will pay in the next month. So as you are making sales in the month of May, you will receive the amount of credit sales in the month of June. So the question will arise that when you will record as a sales, whether in the month of May or in the month of June. So here as per the revenue recognition concept, so whenever the goods are sold, so whenever the bills are raised or the bills are prepared on the date of sale, it is considered as revenue recognized and the sales is considered has been taken place, and not when the amount is received. Amount may be received after 1 month, after 1 week, right, next year, whatever may be. But here this concept apply from the business nature of business to business. In case of services, suppose you are taking the ticket of a plane for traveling in the month of June, but you are taking the ticket in the month of May, and you are making the payment in the month of May. Now for the airline company, the money is received in the month of May, but the airline company provides services in the month of June. So as per this revenue recognition concept, in the books of the airline company, the revenue is recorded not when the cash is received, because when the cash is received in the month of May, the company has not provided services. So here it is recorded as an income in the books of the airline company only when the services is fully rendered, means in the month of June only. Now in case of gold manufacturing company, as the gold is highly demanded, there is no question of demand, so it is the supply is less than the demand. So gold is recorded at its selling price, and it is assumed that it is sold out as and when it is manufactured. So in case of gold, whenever it is manufactured, it is recorded in books of account as if it is sold out, and the same way the profit is also recorded in the books of accounts as if the gold is sold out at the time of itself when it is manufactured. So from the nature of business, the revenue is recorded in the books of account. For example, construction. If a builder takes 3 years to construct the building, and the entire building is sold at the end of 3 years, now the question will arise that it took the period of 3 months to complete the entire project. It is sold only after the completion of the construction, and the selling price is received only in the 4th year when it is sold out. So question arises, for a builder, profit is to be considered for which year, whether in the 1st year, 2nd year, 3rd year, or in the 4th year. So as per this concept, in case of construction business, the profit realized after the sale of building can be divided over 3 years. So in the 1st year, on the basis of work completed; in the 2nd year, again on the basis of work completed; in the 3rd year, again on the basis of work completed. The profit will be divided over 3 years, and the profit is earned, it is considered, and it is recorded in the books of accounts of all 3 years proportionately on the basis of work completed. So here, depending upon the nature of business, the revenue is recognized in the books of accounts. So here the accounting, this concept provides guideline that what is your business, what is the nature of your business, and how and when you should record as the income is earned by you in the books of accounts of business. Now next accounting concept is accrual concept. So here accrual concept says that here the transaction is recorded when it takes place and not when the settlement takes place. For example, that you have consumed electricity in the month of May. Now May and June 2 months. Electricity bill comes only end of June, and you will pay the 2 months electricity bill in the month of July. The question will arise, you will record the expense of which month, whether May or May, June or July, because the electricity consumed in the month of May and June, of which the bill is paid in the month of July. So as per this accrual concept, the total expenses will be scattered over 2 years for the month of consumption, May and June, and it is recorded the expense of May and June and not in the month of July. So here the transaction is recorded when it takes place and not when the cash is paid or received of that transaction. So because of this accrual concept, what will happen? The prepaid expense will arise. Prepaid expense means you have taken insurance for 12 months. Your accounting period ends after suppose 3 months. So the entire insurance period paid for 12 months will be divided into 2 parts. 3 months for the current year, 9 months for the next year. So next year's insurance is treated as prepaid insurance, so which will be recorded expense for the next year, and 3 months expenses of the 3 months insurance premium will be recorded expense for the current year. So the same way the adjustments are to be made in the books of accounts for prepaid expenses, outstanding expenses, accrued income and pre-received income, so that your profit will be exactly for the same year for which you are preparing the accounts. Matching concept. So as per the matching concept, the matching of what? So matching of revenue and expense to calculate the profit. Suppose you are calculating profit for the year 2013 and 14. So when you can calculate the correct profit, that if you can calculate the revenue for 2013-14 and the expenses incurred to earn the same revenue during that period should be matched to get the correct profit. So here the revenue for 2013 minus expenses for 2013 and 14. So here both revenue and expenses must be for the same period to get the correct profit of the same period. So because of this matching concept, so here again the adjustments are required to be made for prepaid, outstanding, pre-received and accrued income. Next concept is verifiable objective concept. So here in the beginning of the discussion, in the last session, we discussed that every transaction must be supported with documentary evidence. So if you have no evidence, you cannot record in the books of account. So here that every transaction must be supported with some document. For example, whenever you are making cash sales, so you will issue cash memo. The same copy of the cash memo will be written by you. If you are making credit sales, then you will issue credit memo to the customer. The same copy of credit memo you will preserve with you. Whenever you are making purchase return, then you will prepare a note which is called as debit note. The same way, whenever you are making the expenses, then you are receive receipt from the person to whom you are paying the expenses. So every transaction is supported with documents. So every person, even the outsider, even the auditor, even the government, even the income tax department, so anyone can verify that single rupee you have recorded, you have a proof. So without proof, you cannot record a single rupee in the books of account. So as per this verifiable objective concept, that all the accountants are required to maintain the records as well as their evidence. That serves the purpose of documentary evidence, and all the books of accounts will become acceptable, and you have a proper proof. So you cannot record the transaction according to your belief or your wish. Next concept is verifiable objective concept. So as per this, again we say we have already discussed the verifiable objective concept. Now let us discuss the accounting conventions. So accounting conventions means it is the practices followed over the years by the accountant, and from the experience of the accountants and businessmen, the accounting conventions are arise. So these accounting conventions are number one, first it is full disclosure. So as per this full disclosure convention, whatever the transactions, whatever the accounts you are preparing, so that accounts you must reflect the proper information. And whenever the company is preparing annual report, so all the material information which is important, which affect the decision of the other person, which is necessary to give, to inform, that material information or the important information must be disclosed properly. For example, that if any court case is filed against the director of the company, then company must mention in its annual report that this case has happened against the director, and you can take your decision accordingly. So as per this full disclosure concept, whatever the information which is relating to the business must be properly disclosed in the books of account, so that all the stakeholders, whether it may be a shareholder or the investor or government or income tax department or general public, can know, they can perceive, they can take decision from the books of accounts, and they can take a imagination, or a prestige can be developed in the minds of such stakeholders regarding your business. So here, as per the Companies Act, it is necessary to give certain disclosure compulsory. For example, profit and loss account, balance sheet, then also that information regarding the employees. So certain aspects are compulsory, should be disclosed in the books of account, as well as certain aspects are voluntarily disclosed by the businessman. For example, that environmental conservation. So as per the law, it is not required, but the company has taken which steps to conserve the environment during the previous year are reported, that these steps are taken by the company, and the company has performed a role for the environment conservation, so that the person who is reading this information will have a good impression regarding the company, that this company has taken this many steps regarding the conservation. Company has taken also certain steps for social responsibility activities, which is helpful to the society. So here, as per this full disclosure concept, it creates the imagination in the mind of the user, in the minds of the reader, that this company is like this, doing this much business, doing this much activity for the conservation of the environment as well as for the society at large. So here, the full disclosure concept, that certain information must be given by the company, so that the company is not hiding, and the company is transparent so far as the business is concerned. Now the remaining accounting conventions we'll see in the next lecture. Thank you.
Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University.